What is going on, guys, and welcome to the very first Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle on my channel. This is going to be an OU match, and I basically just wanted to try out some of the new Ultra Beasts, including Stakataka and Blacephalon. So I don't really play OU a whole lot, but it is pretty fun to mess around with sometimes, and I threw together this team that looked pretty fun to use. But looking at my opponent's team, this man came with the power. He's got 2 Tapus, he's also got a Landorus, he's got a Charizard Y, I'm assuming, and overall, pretty damn scary team there. So I got some pretty big threats to deal with, but let's go ahead and just hop right into it. This turned out to be an insanely close match. This was one of like the first couple battles I had testing out this team, and it was pretty damn entertaining. So I lead off with my Mega Beedrill here as he leads off with his Landorus. Obviously not a good matchup for me. I'm just going to go ahead and Mega and then U-turn on out of here, as I was expecting him to probably want to go for a U-turn as well. Him going for the U-turn second would actually be putting him in a nice position because he could see what I had to switch into first. I figure he's not going to want to go for the Stealth Rock because he does have that Ferrothorn, which I figured if you have a Ferrothorn, you're not going to really worry about putting hazards on your Landorus. So I decided to switch into my man Legos here. So Stakataka comes out as he does actually just end up going for the Stealth Rock. I went into Stakataka just because had he gone for the U-turn, he doesn't really have a whole lot that can switch into this thing. But unfortunately for me, he just sets up them rocks, and I really don't want to take a ground attack because Stakataka is absolutely allergic as hell to those things. So I'm going to switch into Dragonite here as he actually busts out the Z power. I'm really hoping that it's going to be a ground DMZ, as it turns out to be, and that's not going to affect Tiny Wings because I'm over here, you know, floating with my my tiny ass wings. So that's perfect. And at this point, I believe I decided to just go for a Dragon Claw, trying to get as much damage as possible. I thought he might try to just go for a Stone Edge or whatever, but he's actually just going to U-turn out. And that does kind of suck because he has 2 fairies on his team, obviously, and going for the Dragon Claw, probably not the best option because he's going to bring in the Tapu Fini here, and he's not affected by that. So this kind of sucks. Obviously, Dragonite doesn't want to take anything from this, and all I really have is like Earthquake and Extreme Speed to hit this thing with. So I do want to conserve my Dragonite here, and I'm just going to switch right into my Clefable. So I come out green horns and all, ready to take a Moonblast. I am actually max special defense and I believe max HP as well, so I can take that really nicely, especially after the leftover recovery. I'm looking like I'm in a pretty good spot. So he's not going to switch out. He doesn't have a whole lot to do to me, and here I definitely derp up a little bit, and I decide to go for the Thunder Wave, but the freaking Misty Terrain is gonna, block that. I always get confused. I don't play in OU a lot, so I don't see a lot of the terrains, and I knew that the second I clicked Thunder Wave there, that was a misplay. So that's kind of annoying, but at this point, on the Muck, I can bring back in Legos. He can't really do a whole lot to me other than essentially just knock off, which he does, and I eat that up because I'm like maximum defense. This thing is so damn bulky, but its typing is honestly just not the best in terms of all the attacks that you see. He's really just weak to fighting and ground, which are obviously just running around way too much. So I'm actually just going to bust out the Z power here. I have the Continental Crush. I would not want to get crushed by this thing. He basically just springs up and just kind of lands right on this Ferrothorn here, but unfortunately it's not going to do a whole lot, but I do get a nice little sizable chunk of damage there, which is good. At least, I guess. But he's eating some leftovers. At this point, I know that there's nothing he can really hit me with here, so I decided to take this opportunity to set up my Stealth Rock. I know that he's got that Charizard running around and stuff, and a lot of switches going on, so I figure it's going to be pretty useful to have the rocks up on that side. So he actually just goes for the Leech Seed. Not too big of a deal, as I just go ahead and spray some rocks on his side, and that is perfect. So this thing's just over here eating some leftovers, just having a swell time, taking some freaking HP from me, which does suck. He's pretty much going to be back at full here, which is no bueno, but I do have an answer for this thing. He is actually just going to go ahead and switch out here. He expects me to go into the Blacephalon, which is exactly what I do, so he gets the prediction correct as he goes into the Tapu Fini again, who obviously Blacephalon doesn't have any fun, playing with. So I bring out Lady Gaga, looking crazy as hell, and honestly, this thing is, I wasn't too sure about it at first, but this thing's kind of grown on me. He's essentially just a better Chandelure, so, I'm about it. So, I don't want to obviously stay in here. There's nothing I can do to that, so I decided to switch right out into my Magnezone here, who is Assault Vested and pretty fit to handle attacks from this thing. So, I know that obviously I can hit this thing pretty hard with an electric attack, but I also know that he does have that Landorus running around, and it's going to give him a lot of momentum if he can come in taking an electric attack. So I'm going to predict that thing to come out here, and I'm just going to go for the Flash Cannon. I know that it's not going to end up killing, but it will put a lot of pressure on this thing. So he comes in, intimidates me, and the Flash Cannon does land, and it is going to do a nice chunk of damage to that thing. So it's making that thing really easy to take care of later on. and I do not want to take an Earthquake with my Magnezone. It's really nice for switch-ins and stuff, so I decided to go ahead and sack off my Legos here. I'm looking at the team, and I realize that this thing's probably the least useful at this point. It's really slow, and he has kind of a lot of things for it. So I decided to let him come in here and basically just take an Earthquake, and that is going to be some dead Legos. But, you know, you did your job, buddy. You got those Stealth Rocks up. And at least I was able to pop my Z Crystal, so, you know, that's fun. As the mist is going to disappear from the battle, not really too big of a deal. And here I decide to bring in my Mega Beedrill. So, honestly, the main reason why I have this Beedrill on the team is kind of just because of the fact that there's so many Tapus running around in the OU tier that he really takes care of a lot of those. Like, in this matchup specifically, he has to really play around this Beedrill, knowing that I've got a fast Poison Jab ready to take those things out pretty much at any time. But I go for the knockoff. He brings in the Ferrothorn there, as I don't really want to U-turn here because I don't want to take the Iron Barb damage, seeing as I only have a limited amount of switch-ins able to come in on those Stealth Rocks, and I know that Beedrill is probably my most useful at this point. So I'm actually just going to switch right into Magnezone. The reason being is because I know that I have the ability Magnet Pull. He's a Steel type, so he's not going to be able to switch out. Plus, I do have the Hidden Power Fire, basically just for Ferrothorn. So he's now actually just going to go for the Protect after the Leech Seed, and I'm like, you evil bastard. So he's going to, you know, stall out a turn here, get a little bit more health, as at this point, you know, he's looking pretty damn nice, and he's probably going to be able to take a Hidden Power Fire. So I do go for it, and it is unfortunately not going to be able to knock him out. That Protect actually just saved his ass there, as he does miss the Power Whip, which is unfortunate for him, but getting sapped by a little bit more Leech Seed, and at this point he is going to go for another Protect, which is the nice play. Pretty much just whittling down my UFO, and I don't really like that a whole lot, but there's nothing I can do, so I just have to basically hope that he doesn't get this next double Protect at this point, because if he does, I am going to die to the Leech Seed damage. So he tries to go for it. Luckily, though, it is going to fail. And one more Hidden Power Fire is going to take care of the Ferrothorn. So I kind of had to just basically trade my Magnezone for a knockout on the Ferrothorn, but that makes it really nice because now Beedrill has a much easier time kind of navigating around his team, so that's perfect. But now he's going to bring in the Tapu Koko, bust out that Electric Surge, and I don't have any switch-ins to this, so I have to just let him knock out my, my Magnezone here, as he does go for the Wild Charge, which is nice to see because that does give me a little bit of information on kind of what Tapu Koko this is. It's obviously running the physical attack, so that's pretty cool. And at this point, I'm just going to bring right back in Fork. He does live from the Vietnamese Crystal Nuzlocke. If you watch that, he is reincarnated. But I am going to go for basically just a Poison Jab here, as he is going to bring in the Landorus. That's essentially just for the Intimidate, trying to slow down my Beedrill at any cost here, as the Poison Jab is obviously going to take care of that thing. And that is perfect, because now it's looking like Beedrill is going to be able to have a field day with his team, because he doesn't have a whole lot to switch into this thing, other than the Muck. And as he does bring this in now, after running damage calcs, I can do like 55% damage with a Drill Run, so I don't want him to knock Beedrill out. It's looking way too useful against his Tapus, so I do have to switch here, as I decide to bring in my Tiny Wing. So he is going to go for the knockoff. Unfortunately, that does a whole lot of damage, and I was really just kind of hoping that he doesn't have the Shadow Sneak. He does switch out there, and that kind of shows me he's probably not running Shadow Sneak, as I'm just going to go for an Earthquake, trying to get as much damage as possible on that Muck, but he knows that thing is really useful, as he is going to bring in the Tapu Fini here, as no way, I went for Extreme Speed, actually, I think, just to ensure that he wasn't going to go for the Shadow Sneak. I wanted to get as much damage as possible off on that Muck, but yeah. I am going to be able to go for one more Extreme Speed here, kind of just whittling this thing down to half, as he actually ends up going for the Defog, which that's kind of an interesting play, because it's going to get rid of the Stealth Rock on both sides of the field, which is nice for me, because my Beedrill is now able to switch in a whole lot easier, and unfortunately for me, though, he is going to be able to come in with that Charizard and still remain at full health. So I go for one more Extreme Speed, just trying to get as much damage as possible before he knocks me out. He throws the Moon at my freaking face, and down goes the Dragonite. But I pretty much did my job there, so good job, buddy. As now I'm able to go into my Chewed Gum. The reason why I decided to go into Clefable here is because I figured I know I can take attacks from this thing, and then I want to start setting up Calm Minds. As it turns out, he actually has the same exact idea, and we are about to be some calm-minded ass motherfuckers out here. So I do go for it as well, and that kind of just negates both of our stat changes there. I figure I can probably win this matchup, though, considering I am max special defense. So I'm hoping that my Moonblast is going to be able to do at least enough to be maybe a 2-hit KO, probably going to be a 3, though. So That's kind of when I wish that I invested some more special attack into this Clefable, but he does go for the Moon Blast, and as you'll see here, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage at all, and I actually do wish that I had Soft Boiled on this set as well. I was kind of switching between Thunder Wave and Soft Boiled. I eventually ended up going for Thunder Wave because it does really help out the team, but in situations like this, it would be really nice to be able to just kind of fully heal up at any time. But yeah, all that we can really do here is just kind of take turns throwing the moon at each other. It's just a freaking fairy battle here. As I do take that, throw one more moon at him, and unfortunately here, he actually lives this one with like 1 HP, which does suck. After some leftovers, he's looking nice, but at least at this point, it's obviously I can take one more Moon Blast, and then I can finish him off with one more of my own. So he goes for that. I'm just basically hoping for no crit here, and luckily he does not get it, and Chewed Gum is able to go for one more Moon Blast. Like right there would have been a perfect spot to go for the Soft Boiled, but unfortunately I wasn't running that. So Clefable is going to have to end up this matchup with pretty low health, and he's going to be able to finish it off here, as he is going to go into the Tapu Koko. Here, he actually makes an interesting play, and he's going to go for the Volt Switch. I guess he was forgetting that I had the +1 special defense. Plus, I think he wasn't really expecting me to just be so max special defense, but he does go for that, and fortunately, I am able to live, which is amazing, as now he has to go into the Muck here. So I go for the Moon Blast, and as you'll see, it does a nice chunk of damage after that special attack boost, but he's got a Figgy Berry, which is terrible, because after I saw that damage, I was like, yes, it's looking like Beedrill will be able to knock that thing out with a Drill Run, but unfortunately that Berry is going to bring him right back to full, and that is pretty damn unfortunate. So now he's going to switch into the Charizard. He figures, you know, fuck playing games, he's going to go right into the black badass Charizard, as I do go for another Moon Blast there to get a decent amount of damage. It is actually nice because I know that my 2 remaining Pokemon, the Blacephalon and the Beedrill, will be able to knock this thing out in one hit, plus they are faster. So after that Moon Blast, it knocked it down to perfect range there. As he is going to Mega Evolve, shows me that he is going to be Mega Charizard Y, which I did expect. Going to bring out the sun, and it's electric out here, so it is just a bright day. No joke. But yeah, so he is going to go for a Flamethrower that does take out Chewed Gum. Chewed Gum be looking thicker than a bowl of oatmeal there, buddy. You did your job. As now I'm going to bring back in Fork, and he is ready to fork some stuff up. So I do go for the Poison Jab. I am faster, obviously, and that is going to take care of the Charizard, which is awesome. So down goes that thing. I was pretty worried about that at this point, but didn't have to worry anymore. So now he brings in the Muck, and I actually just decided to go for the Drill Run, getting as much damage as possible. I figured that Blacephalon might be able to have this in the bag. So it is going to bring him to less than 50%, which is nice. He does finish me off with a knockoff, and at this point I can bring in Blacephalon, and with the sun up, it is going to boost my fire attack, so I really just have to hope that I am able to land these. So I go for the Fire Blast, as he's actually just going to go for the Protect. I'm assuming just trying to see what I'm going to go for, just scouting some moves there. And I am Choice Scarf, so I'm locked into Fire Blast here. So I go for it again. I do actually connect, and that is going to take out the Muck. I have some pretty damn solid special attack. I think it's like base 151, which is amazing. Plus, I get the Beast Boost with the special attack there, which is amazing, because now he's going to bring in the Tapu Koko, and I know that I'm going to be able to outspeed. It's all a matter of if I can hit this Fire Blast. So I'm locked into it. I know I'm going to be faster, and I know that with that special attack boost, it should be able to kill. Luckily, I do connect with the Fire Blast, and that is going to be a dead Tapu Koko. So Blacephalon really came through there. This was like my first battle using this thing, and it worked out perfectly. Really fun team. Honestly, I thought that was an intense battle. It really came right down to that last move there. But yeah, so that was a really fun match. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed. And don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. I will be transitioning into uploading a whole bunch of Wi-Fi battles soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.